Something would be fun unless we had some fractions, right? So now that we're going to get some fractions, let's go ahead and still do our same process. So we're going to be finding the GCF. Because what we want to do is we want to factor this out. So our GCF, we got to look at what they have in common. Now, we know they both have an x in common. That's good. But as far as a number, this gets a little different because now we have a fraction and we have an 8. Well, we can work this a couple different ways, but what I want to do is let's factor out this -1/4 because I like to have an x as, when I'm taking my factors, I want to have this as a coefficient of 1. We could leave it just by factoring out the x, but we want to find the greatest common factor, so let's factor out a -1/4. Now remember, when we're factoring something out, that's like dividing it out. So if I divide out a -1/4 x squared, or -1/4 x, I'm just going to be left with, so when I factor this out, I'm just going to be left with an x. But then what is going to be factored out here? Well, let's go and take a look at it. So if I take -8 and divide it by an 8x and divide it by a -4x, all right, well, first of all, we know our x's. Those are going to divide into 1, so we don't really need to worry about them. So now I'm up to a point where I'm going to take a whole number and divide it by a fraction. And if you want to remember to do that, we can divide by a fraction by multiplying by the reciprocal. And also, the double negatives, those are going to divide to a positive. So let's multiply by the reciprocal. Well, a number multiplied by a reciprocal, that multiplies to 1. And then 8 times 4 over 1, that just equals 32. So therefore, this equals x plus 32. Now that I have it in factored form, I set both of my factors equal to 0. So x equals -1/4 x, and then x plus 32 equals 0. Now I solve for x, so I divide by -1/4. X equals 0. Here I subtract 32, and x equals a -32. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you solve this quadratic when set and equal to 0. Thanks.